So I was one of those people that said 2026 was going to be my year. And to be very honest with you, I had this feeling inside that yes, this year was indeed going to be my year. For context, I said that in 2022, 3, 4, and 5. In all 4 years, were not at all my years. Coming into this year, I felt optimistic. I was like, this year is going to be my year. But 2 days ago, I looked at the calendar and I saw that 5 months of the year had already passed by. As I'm recording this, is 1st of June. And 5 months of the year are already gone. Almost half of the year has finished. 50% of the year is what we have left, give or take. So just like me, you said that this year was going to be your year, yet you didn't do anything to back that statement up. Then I want to talk about what I'm doing specifically to, well, make the rest of this year, these 7 months that are left, my year, quote unquote. So the first thing I'm doing is identifying, okay, why did this happen? What are the things that held me back? What are the things that stopped me from taking the action needed to achieve the goals that I set for myself this year and to be able to make this year my year? And when I think about it, there's only a couple things that come to mind. Number one is sleeping super late. I've been sleeping mostly at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. most of this year. That is one thing that really held me back, because if I was sleeping super late, I'd wake up late as well. And for me, my classes were at 10 a.m., so I could sleep until 8:30 a.m., ish, and I could still, wake up and go to class. So point is, I had the opportunity to sleep in, which is why I also ended up sleeping super late. But that did cost me a lot of my health. That cost me a lot of testosterone that could have been produced. That cost me just my overall mental well-being. Now, the second thing is consumption. Content consumption, to be more specific. In fact, this is the thing that actually kept me awake at night, because I'd end up, after about 9 p.m., 10 p.m.-ish, and I'd end up just scrolling on my phone, scrolling on YouTube, scrolling on Instagram. I'd just be wasting my time consuming hours and hours and hours of content at night and every single day in general. And that is really what held me back, because it stopped me from taking the action I needed to achieve my goals, because I stayed in the state of consume, instead of actually taking action and doing the things needed to be able to achieve my goals, by God's will. These were the two main things that I knew if I eliminated from my life, my progress would skyrocket. So when it comes to these next 7 months, that is exactly what I plan to do. Eliminate these two things, right? Or at least be very, 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 very intentional with what I consume, and only consuming when need be. So that is the first thing I'm doing. The second thing is identifying the goals I want to achieve in these 7 months, inshallah. And I'm actually being very specific with that. So for me, it boils down into 3 things. Number one is fitness. That is my biggest goal, basically, which is to fix my shoulder. I have a rotator cuff tear, and that has prevented me from training the way I want to train these past 18 months or so, 16, 17 months or so. I haven't been able to train the way I want to because of my torn rotator cuff. So I want to fix this once and for all. That is my biggest goal. And then as a result of that, inshallah, get into the best shape of my life, get leaner, get stronger, get bigger than I ever have been before. That is my one main goal with fitness, right? My second goal is to do with learning the Arabic language. And the third goal is to document my journey towards fixing the shoulder and achieving my goals, inshallah, on YouTube and on Instagram, right? So for these specifically, I've set input goals, right? So for example, putting out 1 to 3 videos a week on YouTube, right? Putting out, 5 to 15 stories every single day on Instagram. Point is, these are the goals I want to achieve this year, inshallah. So for you, it might be something else. So for you, it might be to learn a specific skill, maybe travel to a certain point, maybe read a certain set of books, whatever it may be. Just make it a specific goal so you actually know what that goal is. Because if you don't make it specific, it's going to be this cloudy thing in your brain, and you're going to find it difficult to actually take action upon it. Trust me, I'm talking from experience. And the third and final thing, which arguably is the most important thing, and that is to create your own character. I know this sounds so old, like, oh yeah, main character, be the main character. But I'm not joking. Create your own character. But I want to explain this. So basically, goals are simply a future state of being. So there's a version of you in the future, inshallah, who has achieved the goals that you have set for yourself right now. And what you need to focus on is becoming that version, right? Figuring out, how does that person think? How does that person move? How does that person act? What beliefs does he hold? What are his habits? What are his routines? What is his thought process? If you can understand that and you can try to act like that right now, then you are going to be taking leaps towards becoming that person. And if once you eventually, inshallah, do become that person, by that time you already have achieved the goals you want to achieve, inshallah. Let me explain with an example. I don't know, you want to build a business, right? And right now you think of yourself as lazy. You think of yourself as someone who does not do the work. However, that version of you who has built that business, he's hardworking. He pushes himself. He does hard things. He thinks of himself as an entrepreneur. He takes action fast, right? That is the character that you make in your mind. Ideally, write that on paper as well, or on your phone or whatever. So you have a reference of, okay, what does that person do? How does he think? How does he act? What beliefs does he have? Right? And then your whole focus is to act like that person. So if, for example, one day you come back home from work and you know that, okay, now it's time to work on the business, but you don't want to, you think to yourself, okay, what does this future version of me, what does this character I want to become do it in the situation. And because he's someone that works hard, because he's someone that pushes himself, because he's someone who loves working hard and who loves working on his business, I will also end up working on my business. And that is how you end up taking consistent action, because you're no longer chasing an outcome of building the business. You're chasing an identity. You are chasing a character. And the more you can act like that character, the more you will be able to perform, and the more you will be able to do the actions needed to achieve the goal that you have set for yourself, inshallah. So that is the whole concept behind this. Like for me, for example, this character that I want to become, I call him Ali Hanma. Right? If you don't know, Hanma is basically the last name of a character in an anime that I used to watch. It's called Baki Hanma. Right? It's such a sick anime. It's a fighting anime, and obviously there's a lot of fiction involved. But I don't know. I just found it cool, so that's why I named my future character Ali Hanma, and actually that's why I named this channel Ali Hanma as well, because it symbolizes who I'm becoming. Right? At least for me. When I think about where I am right now and what I want to achieve, inshallah, I think about, okay, what does Ali Hanma do? So I wrote down the characteristics that, okay, Ali Hanma is someone who does not indulge in cheap dopamine. Instead, he gets his dopamine from doing hard things, from doing difficult things, from doing the things that he knows he needs to do to achieve the goals that he has. He finds joy in the process. He is driven by gratitude, love, and he's not driven by pain, lack, or fear. He's consistent in the things that he does because he is focused on the inputs. He's focused on the things that he needs to do, not the outcome that he wants from them, right? He trusts God, right? He has tawakkul. I made this character, and now my whole goal is to just act like him. It's to just do things like him. It's to think like him. And slowly over time, right, as I am acting like that person, and I tell myself, I keep saying to myself, I am becoming Ali Hanma, I am becoming Ali Hanma, I am becoming Ali Hanma. Eventually there will come a point through neuroplasticity, inshallah, where I slowly and steadily start to become more and more like him. And once I truly have become him, inshallah, by then I will have achieved the goals I want to achieve, if God has willed it for me. And this is the beautiful part. You can make this character exactly how you want to. You don't have to follow someone else's idea of what they want to do. You can make this character exactly like you want to. It's like in FIFA, where you can make your own character, you can make your own player, right? And you could give him the abilities that you want to give him, right? If you want to make him super, super good at shooting, but terrible at defense, you can do that, right? I mean, I used to do a 99 plus and everything, but you can do that, right? You can make him your own. You don't have to, base it off of someone else's expectation of you. That is the beautiful part. And then you can choose to, inshallah, become that person. Like, think about it. Isn't that crazy? This is your own person. This is who you want to become. This is your own character. The more you like this person, the more you get to know this person, the more you want to become like that person, because you just like him, right? You know that I like this character. I like this future version of myself. Inshallah, I want to become it. And so you work towards becoming him even more. And when it comes to the first point I talked about, which was eliminating the thing that is stopping you, maybe you might be like, bro, easy for you to say, it's just consuming content, right? And truth is, you might be addicted to something that is much harder to get rid of. You might be addicted to drugs, right? You might be addicted to, I don't know, weed or coke or whatever it may be, and you find it super difficult to get off of that. And you might be like, bro, you don't understand my struggle. You're right, I don't understand your struggle. But what I do know is, would this character of yours do that thing? He wouldn't, right? He wouldn't do that. Then you need to consciously bring that into mind, like, this guy will not do that, why do I do that, right? And for a certain amount of time, you're gonna have to fight that urge. But eventually, if you keep at it, right, and every single time you fail, right, you take it as feedback, not failure. You think of it as, okay, where did I mess up? Why did this happen? And you start to improve upon it, and you ask God for help. Inshallah, you will be able to get out of this, right? You will be able to get out of this. And trust me, it's not impossible, right? 2 years ago, I met this uncle, right, around this time of June, and he was talking about how he was a smoker for 15 years. For 15 years of his life, he was a smoker. But then all of a sudden, he just quit. I asked him, I was like, how do you quit a 15-year addiction? He's like, a man has something within him called willpower. If he chooses to harness that, he can quit anything. I was like, damn. So you can do it. You need to believe that you can do it, inshallah, right? With God's help, everything is possible. You need to believe, you need to ask God for help. And you need to understand that this character of yours probably wouldn't do that. And if he doesn't do that, then you're going to do everything that you can to not do it as well. And that is the beauty behind making your own character. So, Jesus, hot as heck, bro. But to sum things up, number one, identify the things that are stopping you from taking action and eliminate them. Number two, identify the goals that you want to achieve and be specific. Number three, based upon those goals and the person that you want to be, create your own character and work towards becoming like him as much as you possibly can, inshallah. Number four, this is a bonus, ask God for help, because without God's help, nothing is possible. As long as whatever you are chasing is permitted by God, then ask help from God, because He's the only one who can give you the ability to achieve it. That being said, man, it's all attack. I'll catch you in the next one, inshallah. Peace.